welcome to our 7 Days Report Show. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsiloyanis. Here, we bring you all the news from around the world through all major media outlets. We bring you all the news that matters most. We delve into real news affecting our society, politics, economy, culture, and education. Let's get started with our first news. A shocking act of violence unfolded at one of Mexico's most iconic archaeological sites Monday evening when a gunman opened fire on visitors at the ancient Teotihuacan pyramids, killing a Canadian tourist and wounding 3 others, authorities confirmed. The attack occurred around 5 p.m. local time near the Pyramid of the Moon, a popular spot for sunset photos amid the sprawling UNESCO World Heritage Site, which draws over 4 million visitors annually. Mexico's National Guard and local police responded swiftly, neutralizing the lone gunman, identified as 34-year-old Mexican national Javier Morales Ruiz, who was killed in the exchange of gunfire. The sole fatality was Mark Thompson, a 52-year-old software engineer from Toronto, Canada. Thompson was pronounced dead at the scene from multiple gunshot wounds to the chest. 3 other tourists, 2 Americans and 1 Mexican national, sustained non-life-threatening injuries, including shrapnel wounds and a broken arm. All were airlifted to a hospital in Mexico City and are reported stable. Eyewitnesses described chaos as hundreds of tourists fled the UNESCO site. "We heard pops like fireworks at first, then screams," said U.S. visitor Elena Ramirez, 28. People were running down the Avenue of the Dead everywhere. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum condemned the cowardly attack in a televised address, vowing a full investigation. Preliminary reports suggest the gunman acted alone, possibly motivated by a personal grievance, though no group claimed responsibility. Security footage is under review. Teotihuacan, dating back to 100 BC, has long symbolized Mexico's pre-Columbian heritage, but now grapples with rising concerns over tourist safety amid the country's ongoing violence linked to drug cartels. The site was closed indefinitely, with enhanced security promised upon reopening. Canadian officials expressed grief, with Foreign Minister Melanie Joly offering consular support to Thompson's family. Investigations continue. Former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh faced a blistering confirmation hearing Tuesday before the Senate Banking Committee, as Democratic senators questioned his independence and past associations in a high-stakes battle over his potential appointment as Fed chairman. The showdown, presided over by the committee, highlighted deep partisan divides ahead of President Donald Trump's push to install Warsh as Jerome Powell's successor. Warsh, a Bush-era Fed veteran and economic advisor to Trump, parried attacks with calm defenses of his record. Senator Elizabeth Warren, the ranking Democrat, accused Warsh of being Trump's sock puppet, warning he would prioritize White House demands over economic stability. "You've spent years whispering in the president's ear. How will you resist when he calls?" Warren pressed. Warsh fired back. "I've advised presidents from both parties without losing my independence. The Fed's mandate comes from Congress, not the Oval Office." He cited his 2006 to 2011 tenure, where he dissented on stimulus measures, as proof of his autonomy. Democrats zeroed in on Warsh's links to Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier convicted of sex trafficking. Photos and flight logs showed Warsh at Epstein events in the early 2000s. These ties raised red flags for a regulator overseeing Wall Street, charged Sen. Sherrod Brown. Warsh dismissed them as social overlaps in New York circles, insisting no financial dealings occurred and condemning Epstein's crimes. Senators probed Warsh's hawkish views on inflation and deregulation, fearing a repeat of 2008-era laxity. Warsh vowed data-driven decisions but faced skepticism from progressives. Republicans rallied behind Warsh, praising his crisis experience. A full Senate vote looms next week amid economic headwinds. On the second day of his official visit, President Lee Jae-myung sat down with Vietnam's top leader, Tu Lam, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, for high-level discussions centered on bolstering energy supply chains and expanding bilateral trade. The meeting, held at the opulent presidential palace amid a warm welcome ceremony, underscores Seoul's push to deepen ties with Hanoi as Vietnam emerges as a manufacturing powerhouse and key partner in Southeast Asia. President Lee, who arrived Tuesday, was greeted by Tu Lam with full military honors, including a 21-gun salute and a red carpet reception, signaling the strong momentum in Korea-Vietnam relations. Talks focused on energy cooperation, with both leaders pledging to enhance LNG imports from Vietnam and joint investments in renewable projects. Secure energy supply is vital for our mutual prosperity, President Lee stated, highlighting Korea's need for stable sources amid global volatility. Vietnam, aiming to export more power, agreed to explore submarine cable links for electricity trade. Trade topped the agenda, too. Bilateral trade hit $100 billion last year, driven by Korean firms like Samsung and LG in Vietnam's electronics sector. Agreements are expected on tariff reductions for semiconductors and electric vehicles, plus a new free trade framework to hit $150 billion by 2030. The leaders also touched on regional security and supply chain resilience against U.S.-China tensions. Vietnam is a cornerstone of our Indo-Pacific strategy, Lee added. The visit, Lee's first to Vietnam as president, wraps Thursday with business forums. It builds on decades of partnership, from wartime aid to today's economic alliance. In a major push to stem the tide of undocumented migrants risking the deadly English Channel, the United Kingdom and France have inked a landmark 3-year agreement. The deal, announced Wednesday, promises enhanced coastal patrols and substantial British funding to disrupt people smuggling networks. France commits to bolstering its maritime security, ramping up officer numbers by over 50% to 1,400 by 2029. This includes deploying advanced surveillance tech, drones, and faster intercept vessels along the northern coast, hotspots like Calais and Dunkirk. We will leave no stone unturned, French Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau declared, emphasizing a zero-tolerance stance on illegal crossings. The UK, facing political pressure over record arrivals, over 45,000 migrants in 2025 alone, will inject up to €766 million, $897 million into the effort. Funds will support French operations, joint intelligence sharing, and infrastructure upgrades. Prime Minister Keir Starmer hailed it as a game changer, vowing to restore order to our borders amid rising public concern. The pact builds on prior pacts like the 2023 Sandhurst Treaty, but escalates commitments. Critics, including migrant rights groups like Amnesty International, decry it as Fortress Europe, tactics that ignore root causes like war and poverty in migrants' homelands. More patrols mean more deaths at sea, warned a spokesperson. Data underscores the urgency. 2025 saw 12 fatalities in crossings, with smugglers using overcrowded dinghies. Success metrics include a targeted 60% drop in arrivals by 2028. Both nations eye EU-wide cooperation, with Retailleau urging Brussels to match efforts. As small boats bob in Calais' waters, this deal tests whether money and manpower can finally seal the channel. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to extend their fragile ceasefire by 3 weeks, following high-level talks at the White House. The deal comes amid escalating tensions, just 1 day after Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon killed at least 5 people, including a prominent journalist. Trump hosted Israel's ambassador to Washington, Yechiel Leiter, and Lebanon's ambassador to the U.S., Nada Mouawad, in the Oval Office for a second round of U.S.-facilitated negotiations. "We've made real progress today," Trump said in a brief statement to reporters. Both sides showed flexibility, and this extension gives peace a fighting chance. No more rockets, no more strikes, let's keep it that way. The ceasefire, first brokered in late March after months of cross-border skirmishes, had been set to expire next week. Hezbollah's rocket attacks from Lebanon and Israel's retaliatory airstrikes had claimed over 200 lives since October 2025, displacing thousands along the volatile border. Wednesday's strikes, which Reuters reported targeted alleged militant sites near Tyre, wounded a journalist and trapped another under rubble, drawing international condemnation. Ambassador Leiter praised the U.S. role, stating Israel seeks sustainable quiet, but reserves the right to defend itself. Mouawad emphasized Lebanon's commitment to de-escalation, urging Israel to lift its naval blockade on Beirut's ports. White House officials described the talks as frank but productive, with discussions covering troop withdrawals, humanitarian aid corridors, and UN monitoring. The extension runs until May 14, with a third round of talks planned in 2 weeks. Analysts caution that hardliners on both sides could derail the truce. This buys time, but root issues like Hezbollah's arsenal remain, said Middle East expert Dr. Lena Khalil of the Brookings Institution. Still, the agreement marks a rare diplomatic win for Trump, who has prioritized shuttle diplomacy in the region. As fireworks lit up Washington skies in premature celebration, the world watches to see if this pause holds. President Nicolas Maduro's government touted 2025 as the dawn of Venezuela's economic renaissance, promising soaring oil revenues, eased sanctions, and currency stabilization. Yet, for millions of working Venezuelans, the reality remains a cruel arithmetic. 3 months of the minimum wage totals less than $1. The latest figures from Venezuela's Ministry of Labor paint a grim picture. As of March 2026, the monthly minimum wage is 130 bolivares, equivalent to roughly $0.25 at the black market exchange rate of 520 bolivares per dollar. Multiplied by 3 months, that's a mere 390 bolivares, or about $0.75. Workers in sectors like teaching, healthcare, and public services who earn this base rate plus sporadic bonuses can't even buy a loaf of bread, which costs around 15,000 bolivares amid 250% annual hyperinflation. Maduro's administration blames U.S. sanctions and an economic war waged by opposition forces. We're rebuilding despite sabotage, Maduro declared during a recent rally, pointing to a modest 5% GDP uptick from oil exports. But economists like Asdrubal Oliveros of Ecoanalytica call it smoke and mirrors. Oil prices are high, but corruption and mismanagement siphon 40% of PDVSA revenues, Oliveros said. The bolivar's devaluation outpaces any wage hikes. On Caracas streets, desperation mounts. Teacher Maria Gonzalez, 42, skips meals to feed her kids. Revival? I earn less than a coffee in Colombia, she told reporters. Protests simmer, with unions demanding dollar index wages a non-starter for the regime. As elections loom in 2027, Venezuela's revival feels like a hollow slogan. Without structural reforms, the math won't add up for its people. That was the 7 Days Report Show. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsiloyanis. Before signing off, I would like to thank you for listening to our news. Until next time, stay informed and be safe. Goodbye.